Hi everyone. This is part two out of two and a half parts with Chris from Christmas Time in the City. Stay tuned. Very soon we will have that bonus half part talking about comic books, especially Batman. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris. We're a married couple living in New York City. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably love Christmas just as much as we do.
In our podcast, Christmas Time in the City, we talk about the history and traditions of the holidays in New York City. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, caroling in Washington Square Park, New Year's Eve in Times Square, the classic Christmas movies filmed here, we cover it all.
In Listener Mail, we answer questions from listeners like you that may be planning a trip or maybe just curious about us.
And in Christmas Confidential, we read anonymous listener-submitted Christmas confessions to help people finally get their deepest Yuletide secrets off their chest.
So subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll talk to you soon.
Unless you don't want to, then just forget about it.
Really?
What, too much?
No, it's fine.
All right, so back to Christmas.
Back to Christmas.
All right, Chris, where do we find you online?
We are all kinds of places. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter, but I wouldn't necessarily look on Twitter. I just don't have the time, and maybe I'm not clever enough to deal with Twitter anymore. But we are there at Xmas and City Pod. But more appropriately, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook or Christmas Time in the City podcast. We have a website, ChristmasTimeInTheCity.com, where we have all of our shows posted with notes and pictures, and we have 2 interactive maps that you can go check out and see all like the filming locations in New York City for Christmas movies and such, and also some of the more fun Christmas destinations as well, like the skating rinks in New York City or Rockefeller Center. So you can kind of like take a virtual tour. If you can't actually get out here this year, you can still check out the map and kind of virtually walk around.
So does New York pay you yearly or
Also,
quarterly for the tourism, man?
We'll see. We'll see. I'd like to kind of keep it going. We also have another plan that I won't reveal quite yet, but we have another sort of a tour thing that we're working on with people so they can come out and maybe listen to us talk about the city. I can't be any more specific than that at this point, unfortunately, but we have things in the works. We have a lot of things coming out in the works. We're going to be doing 2 episodes in October. I think maybe probably once a week in November and then twice a week in December. So we're going to be everywhere. We're going to talk about news, what's going on specifically with this year, especially in New York City with Christmas. It's going to be much different than other years. So we're going to talk a lot more about current events and how things are playing out. We're actually going to go to the city more and post things on our YouTube channel, which you can also look us up. It's just Christmas Time in the City podcast. So we're going to have a lot more content coming out this year that I'm very excited about.
Good. I mean, you could tell us a secret because there's 2 people that listen to this podcast, me and you. So,
well, I mean,
no, don't say it. There might be a third person. You never know who that third person is.
There may be a third person, and they might try to do it before we can do it. But we have a very specific idea that it'll be a longer podcast, longer form than what we normally do. We'll talk more about all kinds of different things in New York City, and more of a virtual tour guide sort of a scenario.
I'm gonna be tuned to that. You know, a funny thing about your podcast, I started listening it from newer to older. So
yeah, I mean, like the older ones end up kind of being a little rough, which I think happens with most podcasts. But you kind of get your stride and figure out what works best for you. And yeah, so I mean, I like to think that the older episodes from last season are kind of more just like for reference points. Like if you want to know about Bryant Park, or if you want to know about Rockefeller Center or the tree, or where the tree comes from, you can kind of go, and they're easily digestible. They're like maybe 10 minutes long or less than that. And you can kind of just listen to that and get the 411.
Yeah, I mean, I like the one that I focused on. I think I listened to it again. It was the Coney Island episode.
Yeah, the Coney Island, that was the last episode we did. We have another episode by the time this comes out, probably I will have edited it and sent it out. But it's all about another theme park or amusement park in the city. I'm just oddly fascinated this summer, maybe because I'm stuck inside of just like what it was like in the past to go out and like spend the summer. So the idea of like kind of like investigating and researching all these older like amusement parks is really interesting. So our next episode, which is, like I said, already out at this point that you're listening, is all about the Palisades Amusement Park in New Jersey, right off the other side of Manhattan. So
See, I've never got the point of people moving to New York because I like to visit it, but then see what you're doing now. You have so much to do. Even when there's not that much to do, you have so much to do.
Yeah.
So
there's always something going on, whether or not it's in the city specifically, or I mean, we have a car now, so we're lucky enough to be able to get away. Like we can go to Pennsylvania. Like when we bought our car, the same day we bought the car, we drove to Pennsylvania and got cheesesteaks.
Ooh.
Yeah, just because we've been kind of like stuck in New York City for like 5 or 6 years. Like we're like, and specifically like she would go down and visit family, but I worked a whole lot. So I was stuck in New York City. Like I didn't even leave like basically 3 boroughs for like 5 years.
Wow.
So now being able to go out in the mountains and stuff and go to like the Adirondacks and upstate and stuff, there's a lot more to do. And there's a lot more Christmassy things as well. There's actually one of those like I think it's like Santa Claus, New York, or North Pole, New York, one of those like kind of gimmicky towns. But we're going to go check that out upstate a little bit. And there's a Six Flags, which you have one down there as well, which I would imagine that they're probably also doing the Holiday in the Park down there. They do the Holiday in the Park at the Six Flags in New Jersey, which basically like it's like a crazy like.
I went to the one in New Jersey last year to Great Adventure.
Yeah, Great Adventure. It's awesome. Great Adventure is great.
I went, I think 2 days after Christmas, and yes, and I love the environment. Like it feels very, very Christmassy.
Yeah, it's fun. Even when it's not necessarily like super cold, like I said before, it doesn't necessarily get very cold until a little bit further into winter, but like you still get the vibe. And if you start feeling, and like you hear the Christmas music everywhere, it's just it's a good feeling and kind of like just lifts you up if you're feeling down.
I just like walking by the little restaurants or the kiosks and seeing their hot chocolate cups. And then you know you're in the correct season. And they have chili bowls too. I mean, at least they did here in Georgia last year, but it was always closed when we tried because we're members of Six Flags.
There's one thing that I don't ever want, and it's like a bowl of walking chili for a theme park. I'm pretty good without just like having like a bowl of chili for the walk. I don't mind drinking some hot chocolate, but I don't know if I need to have a bowl of chili.
Oh no, I didn't have the hot chocolate or the chili. I wanted to try it just because it was a seasonal item.
Sure.
And then the hot chocolate, my wife and I, we buy so much hot chocolate that I don't think the effect is going to be good hot chocolate and roller coasters. I don't.
Maybe not. No. The problem would be that it would still come up warm, and then that's a feeling that you don't necessarily want. Like, oh man.
Yeah. Well, at least here, last year we went 2 weeks to New York for Christmas. This year, I do not want to get in an airplane, like I said at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I would probably recommend people not going to New York this year, even though our numbers are pretty good. That's because you're
behaving.
We're for the most part. I mean, like the overwhelming majority of people are behaving, which is all you can hope for.
Yeah.
So don't come and ruin it. Everyone stay where you're at.
Yep.
We'll revisit Christmas next year, at least a New York City Christmas. Until then, we're more than welcome to tell you all about Christmas. So tune into our podcast, Christmas Time in the City podcast.
That is correct. I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive around, but to the Christmas cities, because if you search on Google, like near me, there's one that's called Helen, but there's in North Carolina, there's in Tennessee, there's a bunch in the area, 3 to 4 hour drives from me.
Yeah.
So I will do that.
Those are fun places too, like the Gatlinburg sort of places and stuff. Like they're kind of like themed and like especially like they're really overly done, like decoration wise. That can put you in the right mood regardless of where you are. So I'd be excited to hear more about those types of places.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm gonna say this because I don't have that many people. I will put that microphone on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to deal with the wind because I don't think he could edit that out. But yes, I'm gonna try and go remote and talk to people from 6 feet away because that's my that's my motto this year. Christmas from 6 feet away. and get as much history and background from those different places. It might have been done a bunch of times, but I haven't heard or seen. I've read some,
Yeah,
so
and
I'm going to share my experiences.
even if it has been done and covered, people aren't necessarily listening for the information, listening to the person that's providing it as well. Obviously, if you're saying things that don't make any sense or whatever, people are going to tune off. But if you have a good personality and you're kind of like excited about what you're talking about, people are going to listen regardless if they've heard it before or not.
Yep. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to different Christmas tree farms. I want to go to a lot of places that there's not a lot of people. I don't know, it's unknown, but I still want to enjoy my holiday. So I want to go where there's a lot of lights. If I could drive, take pictures, record, I would, there'll probably be weird podcasts, but I'm going to record them right on the spot just to share how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling at that same moment. Because you can't, we talk Christmas. You guys talk Christmas more than I do, and I'm so glad I found all of you. But I feel Christmas the whole time, so I could write it down 1,000 times and it'll sound exciting when I say it, but what better, than when I'm experiencing it. I'll just pile it up together and, that's my road to Christmas. I mean, it's a different year.
I'm excited to hear it. I've been really into your enthusiasm about the podcast, and you've put out some really interesting things. I'm excited to see what you're going to do in the future as well.
I kind of went crazy when I had the idea of the podcast. I pulled out, resources. I contacted people. I like my logo. I will be changing it. Mm-hmm. So, some advice. Someone over there with stickers and stuff. But, they give me good advice. But I did.
I am a sticker fanatic.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. That's why I do like my logo, but I will be changing it. I'll be doing a bunch of overhauling, but I dove into it just because I don't have that much free time. So I bought a website. I search everything, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I'm just waiting to get approved on YouTube. But my handle's the same for everything. I hadn't done this in years, and for a lot of people that don't know me, I used to be one of the original or an original YouTuber back in the day. We do have a bunch of crazy videos with a few million views on them, and this was before YouTube was an app.
Okay.
Yeah. So, some content is not good for kids. It's not because it's bad. It's just because if they act like me, then, we don't want, a repeat. But yes, picked up my brother and they did get to put, some of my videos on the computers over there. And they were just funny video dancing videos. But yes, we did get a few million views. But, as a grown up and, Christmas fanatic, I just felt like I wanted to do this. And then all you guys just showed up. I always keep saying it over and over again. And, I do thank Tom from Tista Podcast, but she's the one that brought me over to the Discord group. And I talk more to you guys than I talk to my own family.
Yeah, the Discord group is fun. We have a lot of fun over there.
Yep. And, well, Chris, I do appreciate, you taking all this time, to be on the episode. This is going to be a real fun episode. I'm going to leave it really Christmassy, but I'm going to throw in the bonus.
I hope we can find some Christmassy stuff in our conversation.
Yep.
And weed out all the Batman talk.
Well, that's a great Christmas gift for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of people. I know a few, and I kind of talked to a few over there in that Discord group. It's Christmas until you say Batman, and then Batman jumps up to Christmas again. So.
Yeah, I think the Batman Returns connection is enough for us to kind of justify talking about it almost constantly.
Yes.
So yeah, Batman. There's some evergreen topics on our little podcast Discord, and Batman is one of the things that you can more or less talk about at any given time, and people will come out of like the woodwork to also talk to you about Batman. So. There's a few other things like that, but that's the one that I like that comes to mind right away.
And if that's not Christmassy enough, I do in the room in front of me have Batman hanging lights. I will share a picture later. Yes, my wife bought that from me right before we got married. Yeah, she spoils me with my superhero and PlayStation and Nintendo stuff. So
that's very nice of her.
Yep.
I used to play video games, but then we have a baby, so
we've bought every single retro nostalgia console that's come out.
Yeah.
And
I think we still have like our like, Nintendo in a box somewhere, but I wouldn't even know how to like connect it to our TV now. Like there's
no,
to buy like
adapters.
HDMI cable. Yeah, it seems like too much work.
Yeah, well,
Just to play like a game I can just play like on my phone.
Yeah, well, the day that I have kids, I do want to show them where I came from. And I always had this idea of how it would be to teach a kid of the original Marios and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have kids yet, but I have a nephew. My oldest nephew, he loves Mario.
Okay.
Since he was, 3 years old, I've showed him how to play the original Mario. And he tells anybody that he wants to go to Tio Manny's house to play Mario, that I have all the Mario games. And when he video chats with me, he asked me to put, the Mario games on my Nintendo just so he could see it. And they just got him a Switch right now. So he was like, right before I started recording, I was watching him play Mario on the Switch, Super Mario and Mario Odyssey. So he says he's just like me. So that makes me happy. So when I have kids, they don't like Nintendo. At least I know I have my nephew that, I didn't plan on it, but yes, he's crazy about Mario. So yes, Chris, let's wrap it up. Anything else you want to, any advice you have for me over here at Feliz Christmas, Merry Navidad podcast?
I think just keep it up, man. You're doing a good job. I think we're all kind of in agreement. All the people I've talked to, and we all talk about you in great detail. That's not true. But I mean, from what I've heard, everyone's really excited for your podcast. There's always room for Christmas content. I would be happy if there were a million more Christmas podcasts, because on the days when there aren't any new ones uploaded, it's just like one of those like, oh man, what am I going to do today? Especially now, like I'll watch the baby in the daytime, and sometimes I'll have like an earbud in and I'll just listen to whatever. But it's always nice to have another avenue for receiving Christmas goodness, and so we're all very thankful that you're here as well.
I mean, I'm happy. I mean, it's gonna get Christmassy or Christmassier or Christmassier, or it's gonna get more Christmas. It's gonna have more Christmas as we go down the line.
Oh yeah, we haven't even gotten to it yet. It's gonna be crazy once Christmas comes, and you'll see also that you'll start. Any listeners that are listening to this, like in 2 or 3 months in the future, it's like these are the beginnings of the podcast that you're listening to now, because you'll have people come back and listen to all your older ones, and you'll see when it gets to Christmas, there's a pretty huge spike in listenership. As long as you keep it up and you put out, I think Todd from Christmas Clatter told me that if you have more than 12 episodes out, it's a good indicator that you're going to keep going. So if you can kind of push for 12 really good episodes, people are going to start coming to you and start listening to you more and more frequently. So I think that's something to kind of look forward to, especially as we get closer to the season and people are looking more for Christmas content. It's going to be a lot, and you're going to realize that your voice is a lot louder than you probably think. Not like physically, but like you have more of a range than you thought you did.
Yeah, remember, I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm loud by nature.
Yeah, like not necessarily that loud, but more people will hear you. Yeah, metaphorically.
Yep, I mean that's what I want to do. Like build my road to Christmas, have Christmas. Talk about other stuff. Mix this episode up with another. But come November 1st, I'm just gonna go full Santa, and I'm gonna record the videos with my different Christmas shirts and hats and stuff, because I'm gonna go full Christmas. So
do it. Absolutely. We don't have cable anymore, just because I just didn't want to pay for sports channels anymore.
What is that cable? What is it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there are a lot of different avenues you can go to kind of get content now, like legal or not legal, or kind of skirting, but whatever. But like we watch a lot of YouTube now, especially, and so there's one of our listeners started up a YouTube channel where she basically just talks about Christmas and the holidays and whatever else. And it's a fun little thing. It's maybe 15 minutes long. You can find it on YouTube. Like I said, it's Merry Little Bexmas, I think. I'm not sure. If you look it up, or reach out to me and I'll find it for you. But it's a fun little thing, and it's a good opportunity to kind of put like visuals on top of just like the audio. So it's another avenue to consider, I suppose, for content.
Yeah,
The more
I'm gonna
ways,
wait till November, because if I get into that now, then I'm not gonna go to work.
yeah. Last year for the 100 days leading up to Christmas, I made it a goal to post every day on Instagram. And I didn't want to just put like kind of like general pictures, like it was like 99 days till Christmas, whatever. So I did like every single day. I wanted to use pictures of New York City. And then more importantly than that, I wanted to give information about the pictures, because so often you see pictures on Instagram or Facebook or whatever else, and there's no context to it. You don't understand like what the picture is or where it's at or whatever else. So I kind of took a bunch of pictures that I had found or taken as well and posted those with the information. But that ended up being a lot of work. 100 days is a lot. And so when it was over, I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to do that ever again. But then here I am now.
That.
I'm like kind of saying I'm going to do like two episodes a week in December. That's a lot of stuff to do, but I have an idea to kind of lighten the load a little bit. It's all about giving more content though.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that, but thank you for stopping me. Because I mean, what we're about to get to the 100 days anytime soon. I think we're 103 days now, 102 days, I think.
I think it'd be maybe better to do like weeks, like 3 weeks, or like maybe like whatever day of the week Christmas is, like if it's on a Saturday, but like it's 18 more Saturdays or whatever it is. I think that may be kind of like a cuter thing, and also it won't be nearly as much work, because like Instagram shouldn't be a job unless you're like a 23-year-old like marketing major.
Yeah, you have. I mean, I don't have the body to get likes on Instagram, so yeah. So I'll stick to Christmas stuff. So I'll stick to my 1 to 3 likes per picture, and then I'll work it up from there.
Well, you'll see eventually that'll start to kind of grow too. It all kind of comes with just being accessible and remaining like part of like these different like kind of like Instagram Christmas communities or Facebook Christmas communities. If you're out there and present yourself, people will find it. So
yep. Oh, and there's one thing that I haven't mentioned on this episode that I need to just so I can keep on a roll. Yeah, I haven't said Jerry today, so I need to say Jerry.
Oh man, I'm sorry Jerry couldn't be here. I think he's recording another podcast tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he scheduled me in for, I think it was 2021 to 2022, somewhere around there.
It's funny because like everyone kind of cracks on him because he does everyone's podcast, and like we haven't had any guests on our podcast because it's kind of hard to work out, especially what we would talk about. Because we try to, because we are technically like a travel podcast, so it's weird to like have someone come on. I don't know. We'll figure it out eventually. But we actually, Jerry and us are doing kind of a crossover a couple episodes in October. So I'm while I think it's funny that everyone's like, oh, Jerry's on every podcast. Like secretly, I'm like, he's also going to be on our podcast.
I'm going to be recording with him next month too. So
great, yeah. And then I'm yeah, absolutely. I'll leave it at that. I have something else.
I said 2022. No, yeah, I'm going to be recording it with him next month. So I'm excited just because I mean, we all know Jerry before we know Jerry. So
yeah, Jerry's a really cool guy. I imagine he'll probably listen to this. So I wasn't just saying that because I knew that you'd listen, but yeah, Jerry's a really cool guy. He's a really nice person. I'm happy that we were all kind of able to connect with each other. So
yep. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, he's the definition, at least what's saving this year, for Christmas wise, even going through his COVID stage and everything, he's kept that spirit alive. So
yeah.
I tip my hat off to him. So, yep. So yes, we mentioned Jerry. How many times did we say Jerry in the past minute?
I don't know. Probably enough.
All right, just in case for next episode, I could just cut it and paste it on there too. All right, Chris, I do appreciate it. I love the fact that you're my second guest just because I needed to have Lassa on before anyone.
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard this podcast twice already, and I've been begging. I mean, tell him to show you his Facebook messages when you're going to bring stuff back, because I identified with so much of the things that they talk there. So, and then, I mean, I have something in common. I know with you, obviously, the New York connection. My family is from and in Brooklyn right now, just like I am with the guys from Tis the Podcast. Two of them live in Oklahoma. I lived in Oklahoma. What does a Puerto Rican do in Oklahoma? I mean, I was 7. I can't explain that, but I did. So I have connections with, you know, with a lot of people. I mean, then again, I'm Puerto Rican, so we're all over the place. I should have connection with more, but
I think you'd be surprised with how many people you probably do have connections with. You just maybe don't know them, don't know that yet. But I mean, we all have way more in common than we have that divides us, generally speaking. So I think if you can find common ground with somebody, you kind of grow a relationship or friendship based on that. And that's always pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why I stopped talking to my family. I only talk on the Discord group now.
Yeah. My mom has no idea we have a podcast. And like I said, we're almost at a year. She has no idea.
I don't think my mom knows what a podcast is.
I think that's part of the problem is I have to explain to her what a
mom's a young mom, but I don't think she has an idea what a podcast is. I don't think my wife knows what a podcast is. She'll buy me anything I want for the podcast or let me buy, you know. She's the boss. I have to say that.
Yeah.
But I told her she has to be. She said, no, I don't want people, you know. I'm like, nobody's going to see you. You're just going to sit here and talk to me.
I think that'd be a good thing, honestly. I mean, like maybe not like if she's uncomfortable doing it every episode. I think it's interesting to kind of hear other people's perspectives as far even like podcasters, like significant others. Like mine, fortunately, is part of my podcast, so I get to talk to her all the time. But
that's a blessing.
I think it'd be fun to hear your wife's perspective on your obsession with Christmas.
Yeah, well,
maybe float that idea by her and see if she'd be interested.
Well, we have a story, and I'm just gonna say what it's gonna be about, but it's our Christmas village.
Oh, don't even say anymore. Don't even say anymore. I have a Christmas village, and I could talk to you for another 2 hours about it, but I absolutely cannot talk to you for 2 hours about my Christmas village.
Yep. So I told her, and it's going to be a bilingual episode, so that's where the actual bilingual stuff is going to come in with her.
Okay.
I said an Is that my first of the episode?
It might have been. You've been doing really, really well.
Yes. I mean, I need to have
very professional. You're like Brian Earl.
Never. I mean, that's untouchable right there. Nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have her on to share our little long stories. I think this is the third or fourth Christmas to do with that. So, and she's not much of a talker, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, let's cut it short here. You know, cut it short. This is I'm gonna have a a mini series between you and Lassa.
Well, I have a feeling you're probably gonna have mini series with a lot of us. Yep. So it'll give you an opportunity to put more content out. So you can put out like part 1 and part 2. We can put part 1 out in the beginning of the week and part 2 in the end of the week. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's up to you.
And now I know I'm gonna mix it up. So
okay, well, I'm excited to hear other people's as well. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to hear what else Feliz Christmas, Merry Navidad has to offer.
Yes! On your first try.
Yeah. I mean, I am from Miami, so I am familiar with the Spanish language.
You heard me on my first try. I killed it. And when I mean I killed it, I didn't do good. Like, I
literally killed it.
Yes. Dead. Yes, Chris, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And, I'll be tuned to your next episode. So
thank you very much.
Now I have to keep going back, listening to the other ones, and then jump again forward.
If you haven't already listened to, I would listen to the Home Alone episode. It seems to be a pretty good gauge of what we were capable of doing. It's only 8 minutes long as well, so you can if you listen to it at double speed, you can finish it in 4 minutes. And
my commute to work, it's about 45 minutes.
You can you can listen to the Home Alone episode
But between all my phone calls, yes, I think I have 8 minutes in between all my phone calls.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Chris. I enjoyed it.
Okay, bye.
Cut.
We did it.
Wow, Chris, this is longer than Lassa's.
Yeah, I mean that's the Batman problem. If you start talking about Batman, and here's the thing, we didn't necessarily need to, but I felt it was important to let people know about the Batman logo. So that put us on like a 20-minute detour. That's fine, not a big deal.
Yeah, well, John Paul's gonna kill me when he has to edit that out, but that I'm gonna put in a little section that's gonna be like a gift. Like you open a gift, and that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the Batman conversation.
Okay.
So I mean, I we're trying to do a lot of material for this. Like we're really, really, really trying. And like he said, you're gonna have times that in Christmas you're not gonna have time to record. Even if you're home, you're gonna be busy doing other stuff. So get all your material ready, but at least I'm gonna be like, once we edit all this, then you're gonna see a lot of episodes like every other day or every 2 days, but like well organized, like part with
Cool.
you, part with Lassa, part with some other stuff, and then I'm just gonna start going crazy as soon as I start getting the notifications that the Christmas tree farms are open. So
Well, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, but yeah, Chris, I mean, I do appreciate it. This is gonna be great. I mean, he's gonna make me edit it with him, but
I think it's important. I think you should be editing. I think it's an interesting experience. It's the other part of the podcasting that once you understand what that is, and it's a whole other level of like of relating to like what it is to do a podcast and having to deal with like the ums and like Todd always says that he's done it so many times and he's edited so many times that he knows what the wave file of an looks like when he's recording it. That he knows when he has to delete it, that he'll go and just kind of delete it off the thing. But he's that good at knowing where the ums are and the they're like the pops or whatever else. So I think it's an interesting part. If you don't necessarily have to do it every time, but I think it's important to like at least have an idea of what it is, and maybe you can kind of dial back. Although, like I said before, you did really good. I didn't really hear any ums or anything.
I try not to. I mean, this all comes from stage fright.
Yeah, I mean, there's no stage though, man. It's just me.
No, but that's how I got rid of it. I'm a fast talker, English and Spanish, but I was afraid of being up on stage. I had to go through a process that I had to be on stage, and getting rid of the ums and the insecurity in talking while I was rehearsing and stuff like that. So and then it became like my pet peeve. I can't hear ums and stuff. Like I cringe, but then I've also learned to just calm that down because there's some people that actually have to say it. Like it's natural in some people and I can't control it. So
yeah, it's like a mental pause so that you can think about your next. If say like if you stutter, a lot of people that stutter have like the situation because like their brain is working too fast with their mouth, and so the way of kind of pausing what they're saying is to say so they can kind of slow their brain down enough or slow their mouth down so they can kind of catch up. So I mean that's where you try to like limit those, but if it's a situation where you can't, then you just have to edit them out.
Yep.
Or just let's like talk slowly, I guess.
Like my manager's meetings, I go straight to the point. I stutter only when I'm nervous or when I'm happy. Like today, I did stutter quite a bit, and I'm just gonna leave it that because whatever. I mean, that's how I was feeling. But in my manager's meeting, I go straight to the points. There's no there's no pauses. There's no.
Because you're confident dealing with the manager meetings. I think once you're more confident, or once you've had more experience with it, to realize that it's not that hard to do these things or to not or stutter too much or whatever. I think you'll get to the point where you're much more confident and it's going to be much easier. I feel like you're not as far off as you think that you are from being really good on the mic.
Yeah, at work they tell me like when I go off with people, did you rehearse that? I'm like, nope. No, it just came out like that. But yes, I used to have the So, but yeah, I do appreciate any advice you have. Let me know. On the stickers, I am already working on the other logo, but my friend, he's kind of busy, but I do like having these type of friends. I'm horrible at graphic designs. So he's really good at that. He made my wedding invites and stuff. And then my friend John Paul, which he's going to edit this and kill me because of this other conversation towards the end.
Are you going to tell him not to listen to this part?
Oh, no, he's going to listen to it anyways. Because I told him last time.
Man, you're a really good friend. I would not do this for any of my friends.
He's studying music and sound and a bunch of stuff. He recommended my headphones, what to get and all this stuff and the program. So I'm eventually going to be taking over. I used to edit my videos back in the day, but I used to edit them on Windows because I couldn't afford Apple back then.
Yeah, I don't have an Apple. We just have the Windows. I mean, I probably could afford an Apple, but at this point, like we're basically like 100% like Google everything. So I having like a Apple laptop and then like a Google phone doesn't seem to work. So we're 100% in our house Google everything.
Yeah, no, I have Google everything, but then everything Alexa came some with the house, some for Christmas. So there's you say Google in one room and Alexa in the other. Somebody answers.
No Alexa, we had Google everywhere. We got Google on our phones. We just switched over to the Google phone plan. Like we're on. I got rid of Google Fi.
Ooh.
That's how in I am with Google. So if anything happens with Google, you're not going to be able to get in touch with any of us because our phones aren't going to work. I'm not going to be able to get on the internet. Nothing.
I want to get Google Fiber. I can't wait till that happens.
Fiber would be awesome. I mean, like eventually that'll all kind of happen, I think. But I mean,
that's my search engine, Google with everything.
Yeah.
But I stick to Apple now. I mean, I have my iMac now, but I haven't had an iMac like in 5 years, no, since 2018. I'm sorry, because I sold mine wanting to buy that iMac Pro that was coming out, but then when I saw the price tag, I decided not to buy any.
Yeah. It's just those Apple prices are just like so expensive, and like I get like it's really intuitive and like the computers work really well, but I just can't justify spending that much on something that's going to be outdated in like 5 years, and you're going to like do it all over again, and then that one's going to be like $4,000 more than the one you had before.
Yeah, no, I stick to the the low end from them, but I'm not that much of a user. I'm just gonna use it for editing and stuff like that. But I just wanted to have it just because I keep having bad experiences with my Windows. So
yeah, I mean, I've heard really good things about like using like GarageBand and stuff to do editing. So
that's why I'm doing it. So yep, I'm gonna let you go because I wake up at 5 a.m. again.
Yeah, tomorrow is my morning to wake up with the baby, so I should probably go. But I appreciate you for having me on. Thank you for so much. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, and like I said, my friend's gonna kill me. No me mate, jump on. That means don't kill me.
Yeah, don't just edit him saying really like offensive things in the middle of the podcast. Oh. Just like in the middle of it, just be like, you know what? I don't even like Christmas. It's like I didn't say that. Like it sounds like you just said that.
He's gonna hear this part because he's gonna want to know where he's gonna cut it out at the end, and then he's gonna actually do that or tell me he did that. So now I have to hear the complete thing before I upload it. Thank you, Chris.
He's gonna be so bummed when you could have just said like, "Hey, cut it at like 1 minute or 1 hour and 42 minutes."
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Oh well, whatever. Sorry, dude.
I'm not sorry.
Good editing experience. I'm trying to get him to edit his own, so we'll see. Maybe both of us can pressure Manny to edit his own podcast.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna show me. So
good.
I mean, I'm a fast learner. I just don't have the time right now. But
yeah,
and he's getting the experience. So
what a good friend you are.
Yeah. I mean, he did an internship in Miami not too long ago for music, and this all comes to his what he's studying in college right now. So
gotcha. All right. Well, I'm definitely going to head out now. Thank you so much for having me. I'm sure I'll talk to you at some point on Discord or wherever else. If you need anything else, let me know. If you find any other reasons to have me on the podcast, I'll be more than happy to do it. Just give me a few days notice.
By then I'll have by then I'll have the notes and everything. It'll be under 45 minutes. Chris, where do we find you online?
We are all kinds of places. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter, but I wouldn't necessarily look on Twitter. I just don't have the time, and maybe I'm not clever enough to deal with Twitter anymore. But we are there at Xmas and City Pod. But more appropriately, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook or Christmas Time in the City podcast. We have a website, ChristmasTimeInTheCity.com, where we have all of our shows posted with notes and pictures, and we have 2 interactive maps that you can go check out and see all like the filming locations in New York City for Christmas movies and such, and also some of the more fun Christmas destinations as well, like the skating rinks in New York City or Rockefeller Center. So you can kind of like take a virtual tour. If you can't actually get out here this year, you can still check out the map and kind of virtually walk around.
Hello again, everyone. Don't forget, if you want to keep in touch with us and keep up with everything that's going on Feliz Christmas, Merry Navidad podcast, you could find us all over social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at FCMN Podcast. FCMN Podcast. Feliz Christmas, Merry Navidad.